Hello and welcome back to GBRLIFE Reviews, under the new vlog umbrella of Kaleidoscope Visions. I'm Caitlin, and today we're diving into a platform that's been a game changer for many creative entrepreneurs, Etsy. Are you a crafty entrepreneur making beautiful handmade items from jewelry to custom home decor? Have you perfected your products, but now you need a place to sell them where they'll reach the right audience? Enter Etsy, a marketplace tailored for handmade, vintage, and unique goods. In this review, I'll break down what Etsy is, its pros and cons, pricing, and give it a rating based on my experience. If you're looking to expand your online sales and reach a dedicated customer base for your crafts, then you're in the right place with today's review. Make sure to keep watching and hit that subscribe button for more tutorials and parenting hacks and insights and honest reviews like this. Remember, here at GBRLIFE, we drop new content weekly, along with maintaining a vibrant blog, engaging podcast, and our stylish, comfortable clothing line, Mama Koala. Now, let's dive into the details right after our 10-second intro. What exactly is Etsy? Let's peel back the layers. Picture this. You've just crafted a stunning piece of jewelry and you want to share it with the world. Instead of setting up your own website and trying to attract visitors from scratch, you list your item on Etsy, a platform known for its community of buyers looking specifically for unique handmade items. It's like having a giant booth at a giant global craft fair that never ends. Etsy is an online marketplace that focuses on handmade, vintage, and craft supplies. It's a vibrant community where creators and buyers come together, and it offers a straightforward way to sell your products to a worldwide audience. The standout feature of Etsy is its niche. It's a niche market focus. By catering specifically to handmade and unique items, it attracts a customer base that appreciates and seeks out those kinds of products. Plus, Etsy's a very user-friendly interface, and it makes it easy to set up your own shop and start selling quickly. But let's talk about some of the pros and cons. So one of the pros is the targeted audience. Etsy already attracts buyers specifically looking for handmade, vintage, and unique items, giving your products a higher chance of being seen by the right people. And then there's that easy setup. Creating an Etsy shop is straightforward, and it doesn't require any advanced technical skills. And then it's built-in marketing tools. Etsy offers various tools to help you promote your products, including SEO features and advertising options and social media integration. Plus, there's community support. Etsy's community is a great resource for tips, advice, but there is a downside, like fees. Etsy charges listing fees, transaction fees, and payment processing fees, which can add up, especially for lower priced items. And then there's the competition. With millions of sellers, standing out on Etsy can be challenging, and it requires effective marketing and unique products. And then there's the evolving policies. Etsy's policies and fee structure can change, and it has. So staying updated and adaptable is necessary. Plus, you get limited branding. While you can customize your shop to some extent, Etsy's overall look and feel are consistent across the platform, which can limit your branding opportunities. It often feels more like you're promoting Etsy itself rather than your unique brand. But you don't have to take my word for it. Let's take a look inside of Etsy. Upon opening Etsy, you're greeted with the home page. It's going to showcase featured items or curated collections and a search bar to find specific products, or setting up a shop that involves creating an account, choosing a shop name, and adding your products, photos, descriptions, prices, all that fun stuff. Etsy's interface guides you through each step, making the process smooth and intuitive. But that's only if you're going through the front page and when you're starting to begin with. When you're going in through your shop, this is what it looks like. It's going to immediately show how you've done. Now, admittedly, I don't have any items listed, but one thing I can show you is actually how to do that and ways to make it much simpler. So like I said, this is the very front page, and it's pretty easy. You see search, dashboard, listing, messages, orders, and shipping. Star seller, this is a key. Stats, so who's looking at your stuff? Growth tips, they want you to succeed. Finances, marketing, like I mentioned. Integrations, that's another big gem. Help and settings. Plus, you can see here, I can look at my sales channels, which means I can sell on more than one Etsy store or create more than one Etsy store if I'd like. You can also create your own website through Etsy. Like I said, it is going to be more Etsy related than you related, but they do it through Pattern. And you can also use Square, which means that you can go to a festival and use Square and it can pull directly from your Etsy shop. So let's go over to listings. Like I mentioned, I don't actually have any listings at this time. That doesn't mean I couldn't add anything very easily. I could go right here and just select add a listing. But you can also see right next to that, it says free 15 for new listings only. This is because after a certain amount of time, listings will expire. Previously, I had 5 listings and you can put as many as you'd like. I used to have hundreds on here. But right now, or just recently, I had 5 during the winter. As you can see, I have winter type clothing on here. And this is because I was doing an update of Mama Koala. But either way, it's actually very simple if I want to add a whole bunch of products or I want to have it and continue it to be a very simple store by just adding 1 or 2 products at a time. You really need to make sure that you're adding, if you decide to use Etsy, the amount of products that you feel that you can handle. Don't add more than you can handle unless you're using an integration like I've used. So if I wanted to renew this, I could simply select this because they do expire after a certain amount of days and just press renew. It would charge me 15 cents. Every single listing would cost 15 cents. So keep that in mind. You do have to continuously pay to keep your listings on Etsy. Now, if I wanted to add a brand new listing, I just select add a listing. Then from here, they ask you all that they can possibly ask to make this as easy as possible. Let's just pretend. It's a physical item. I made it. It's a finished product. When was it made? Made to order. And then from here, you add your title, photos, a good description, consider SEO, some personalization, this way people can find it a little bit easier, your price, the amount of inventory that you have, don't forget that SKU if you can, and allow restock requests. So if somebody really wants you to bring it back, you can open this up for people to be able to say that. You would add your variations, a few more details because they also need to know, this is more SEO related, but the category, tags, and materials does help people find you, and then their shipping. This is a bit of its own bear, but it's going to be very dependent on what you're doing and how. If you've already figured out how you plan on shipping your products, you should have no issues here. If you haven't, this may take you a bit of time, but you do need to explain to them how you plan on shipping and pretty much everything to do with it. So I would suggest taking some time really figuring this out. And you can also keep shipping profiles set up. And obviously I have Printful because yes, I do use Printful for some of my products. And then of course, you have a savings alert, and occasionally Etsy will do that. Etsy will provide opportunities for you to save in different ways. They'll offer it to all of their stores and you can use the deals, but it doesn't mean that it will always be that way. So you always have to check on what has changed in your settings. They also let you know, but you should be proactive in checking as well. And then the last of it is renewal. You can set that to be automatic. You can make that a manual option. The shop selection, like in other words, the category or collection that you're going to be putting your product in. And you can also add, and I would always suggest doing that, a return and exchange policy. And then you just press publish. Previewing is always a great idea. That way you don't mess it up and find out that it's not right. Or you can just go ahead and publish directly if you feel really confident about what you're doing. I'll go ahead and cancel because I did not actually add anything. But if I were to go ahead and select this, for example, this is a printable object or item, and I can select, well, here's the best part. If I wanted to add this, re-add this back, I can literally just, if I go backwards, I can literally just select it and renew, and that's it. But if I want to see anything inside of here and update any information, I can just go in and do as I needed. Another thing to remember is Etsy's not paying for you to sell internationally. You are paying for you to sell internationally. So you do need to make sure that if you sell anything international, that you get your tariff numbers, and I believe there's another one that I cannot remember the name of at this time, but there are different numbers and listings and ways that you need to do this, all shipping information. So always make sure, these things do change often, so I don't want to provide too much information even on this video, but make sure that you're looking into that. But like I said, I can go back in and update it as I please. Now, the star seller. This is a key. Why? Because the star seller means when you are selling very well, and you have to make sure that you have checked off these specific boxes, minimum of 5 orders, $300 in sales, average rating is at least a 4.8, on time shipping and tracking, you want 95% rate for that, and a 95% message rate response rate. This is because Etsy really values who they have on their platform. They want to make sure you're a good seller. If you're not a good seller, they won't promote you, and that's the key. They do promote star sellers. They don't. They do offer paid promotion. You can go to marketing and have the option to do Etsy ads, offer sales and discounts, incorporate social media, share and save, and also add in your custom web address. But this is like a little hack where you can kind of do it for free, just being awesome. They will put you in the top, not the very tippy top of the page, because that's where they're going to put their promotions. But after that, your products will be at the top of the page versus others, because they know that you've already checked off these boxes to say you're a good seller. Go ahead and buy from this specific seller to their customer base. And then the integrations. This is another big thing. Oh, well, actually, let's go to growth tips first. Here, you can just set up your shop for growth. That's literally what it says. It is a beta. This is brand new. I've never seen it before, but they've always had ways that you can add to your shop and learning how to make it better. But it looks like they've added it directly here, and they're not making you look for it. And they're probably doing some recommendations, based off of your own site. But going back to integrations, this is another reason a lot of people like Etsy. You can market and promote your shop. Remember, see all here. So there's a lot of options. Improve your listings and understand buyer trends. Manage your bookkeeping and taxes. Understand and manage your inventory analytics. All of this is here directly through Etsy. But here's the best part about Etsy. Kind of like I mentioned in my other video, MailChimp. If you haven't seen that, please be sure to check out the MailChimp video. Where I mentioned it's an OG, and Etsy's also an OG. So what happens is when you go to all these other places, for example, Squarespace, I happen to have my website, GBRLIFE.com, is off of Squarespace. And because of that, I can actually take all of my listings, if I want to put it directly on Etsy, instead of going to Squarespace or my Mama Koala website, which is why I don't use Etsy as often, and it's not as important to me, is because I have my own website. But because it's an OG, I'm able to just go ahead and integrate anything I put here everywhere else. So in other words, I can't take Mama Koala and put it on a link in bio very quickly and easily without just saying, oh, here's the actual link. Versus Etsy, sometimes you can actually put it there as an option to purchase directly from. And you can also see that they sell that way as well. Now, it does have that rivaling with Shopify. So Shopify does have a lot of these other options, but Shopify is you creating your own website, not them helping you out. Etsy's different because it's a platform that's going to take all of the products and aggregate it more like an Amazon and make it so that you can go ahead and purchase that product right there through Etsy, like Amazon. Versus Shopify, you're going to individual websites in order to find things. So you can see where it's really up to what you feel is best, but it's not going to be for everybody either. But it is an OG, and they do have this option everywhere. So like I said, OG, Etsy, or go to MailChimp, my tutorial on how to create a newsletter, and you can figure out some stuff about that as well. See if it works for you. So coming off of the Etsy website, I do want to talk a little bit more about pricing. Etsy's fees and pricing plans are as follows. You can see it right on the screen. Listing fee is 20 cents, transaction fee is 5% of the total sale price, including shipping, and payment processing fee is 3% and 25 cents per transaction. Etsy also offers Etsy Plus. It's a subscription plan for $10 per month, providing additional tools and credits for listing and advertisement. It's beneficial, but it's not for everybody depending on how your shop is doing. So while Etsy is a versatile tool and powerful for anyone looking to sell handmade, vintage, or craft items, it's not without its draw. The fees in particulars can be a significant burden over time, especially for lower price items where profit margins are really thin. Additionally, the limited branding options and opportunities mean your shop might feel like just another page on Etsy rather than a unique standalone brand. Overall, I give Etsy a 3 out of 5 stars. It's perfect for creators who want a straightforward way to reach a dedicated customer base without the hassle of building and maintaining their own website. However, the high fees and branding limitations are significant downsides that potential sellers need to consider. Do you have any questions about Etsy? Or is there another platform you're curious about? Drop your questions or suggestions in the comments below. That's it for today. Next week, we'll be diving into another exciting tool to help you get some work done, lifeat.io. Is it really going to help you get all this work done? Or is it just another productivity tool who claims it can get you focused? Don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when our next video goes live. And remember, with all of our content on GBRLIFE.com and our fabulous Mama Koala clothing line, you don't have to be without GBR Life in your life. See you next time.